Welcome back. Today, I'm going to share a little bit of my I was going to say progress, but more like regress. You know those memes that how it started versus how it's going. Yeah, that's the way I felt today. Like how it started, this smiling, freshly scrubbed young person playing chess, and how it's going is more like this. That's an actual photo of me from the future. I went forward in time. Yeah. Anyway, my small attempt at humor. I played a couple of rapid games today, and I'm going to show you how poorly they went. In this one, we were playing the Indian game. My opponent played the London system, and we ended up on this position by move 10. This is it felt like fairly advanced for me for move 10. I didn't really care at this point what the computer said about our position. I felt like I had gained a bunch of space here on the right. My opponent was trying to break open on the B file, perhaps trying to induce me to take to free his rook. I'm not sure exactly what the plan was, but I had a plan too. And as you can see, my plan involved not checking for captures, checks, or threats. And my plan involved thinking if he took, I would take, and this file would be open, so I'm going to move my rook over. And that's what I did. The astute among you have noticed I just hung a piece. Not completely free. It would be a bishop for a rook, but that would benefit my opponent greatly. And as you can see, the engine's recommending that he take the rook that I've so generously offered him. Well, gently and generously. And he didn't take it. I guess my opponent was feeling generous as well, and instead moved that pawn forward. Well, from here on, I don't think I got the advantage at any point after this. My rook continues to hang because I'm watching these pawns, and who knows what I thought here. I did that. Yeah. As you can see, the evaluation bar continues to favor my opponent. Well, so he just started chopping away there. That was an accident. I was not actually trying. I mean, I did that move on purpose, but I still didn't know the bishop was after my rook. I just happened to get it out of danger. That turned out to not be the best move in the situation. Here, the computer is actually, as you can see, recommending I take this pawn, or alternatively, take this pawn. And just let the rook go. Basically, the computer's telling me, you've already given up the rook. Just let it go. But I accidentally saved it. And it didn't get much better from here. Oh, here I actually did make the best move. This is protected. It's actually, I didn't even see that the queen was protecting it too. And it says I should have taken with the queen. But here, well, I did the best move in this situation. Now, after this, my opponent was up one pawn, and I felt like the situation was fairly even. And my idea was this pawn would be hanging if that knight wasn't there. So I thought I'll move this bishop here to threaten this knight, or just trade the bishop for the knight, and if the queen recaptured, then this pawn would be hanging. So I put the bishop there. My opponent made a move, and that's when I pounced. However, my opponent is slightly smarter than I am and realized if they took with the knight, not only would the knight be guarding the pawn, but the queen would be guarding the pawn. So that's what they did. So now that pawn's not hanging anymore. Here, the computer is seeing this and this, which is why it's recommending me to play g4 at this moment. Yeah, I didn't see that. I did this. Not sure exactly why I did that. But my opponent saw what the computer saw and put that there. Now, this is the important part. Well, the important part is that I've already completely messed up and lost the advantage. But the really important part for this game, and the way that it ended, is that I still didn't see this very obvious battery lining up. And I thought, oh no, my knight's in danger. Yeah, I'm only seeing this little square right here somehow. And the only thing happening in that square is that my knight's in danger. And I looked around. It's like I could put it back over here where it came from. If I put it here, it dies. If I put it here, it dies. If I put it here, it dies. If I put it there, it dies. If I put it there, it dies. If I put it there, okay. So 2 squares. And I thought, hey, at least that one threatens the queen, right? Yeah, I did that, and they checkmated me. That was move 21. So very embarrassing, but I'm sharing it with you guys because I know you guys don't have great games every time as well. Maybe this will make you feel better. I'm still learning. There we go. But I thought, that's horrible. I'm going to try another one. So I did. And this time I had the white pieces. I played the London defense. Or, sorry, I keep calling it the defense for some reason. I played the London system, which we ended up in this position after 25 moves. So obviously better than the previous game where I lost in move 21. Now here, the computer says we're completely and utterly even. It's a drawn position, according to the computer. If only I would make one of these special, awesome moves that I didn't see. Now, what I was seeing here is that my rook is, blockading in this backward pawn. This pawn is also backward. Has no pawns behind it that can defend, right? And my thinking here was, if I bring my rook over, connect my rooks, then I can just take that pawn, right? And I was willing to change my plan if the opponent went to defend somehow, or defended here maybe. Actually, if they moved the knight out, that would give me more pressure on that piece. But anyway, my plan was to do this, hit this. Once the queen moved out of the way, I would get the other pawn too. And then I would be 2 pawns up. I have 2 connected passed pawns in the center at that point. That's my idea. The reason that the computer is suggesting this as the top move will become very quickly apparent. But I will just say, my king's on the back rank. I do have a pawn pushed forward, so the king could escape if the bishop were not right there in a future back rank mating situation. So if I move my king to h1, as the computer is suggesting, then I would never get back ranked because the bishop could always go here and block. And actually, I did consider this. Not for that reason, but I considered shuffling those pieces thusly to reroute the bishop, because the bishop is horrible right now. It can't go anywhere. Yeah, it's stuck. So I was thinking about that, but maybe as a future idea. I thought, you know what, this pawn blocks that pawn. Nothing they can do about that. So that seemed like a good plan. Well, I did that. And surprisingly, the computer still says we're even. My opponent connected these pawns here too. And that actually gives me a slight advantage. My thinking at the time was that these pawns are getting overextended. They're getting further from their protection. So I came up with this pretty cool idea, which it's not listed among the best moves on the computer. Computer suggesting maybe queen to g4, still saying king to h1, or just push this pawn. What I saw was this. My queen can continue helping guard this side of the board, pressure here, as well as the opportunity to come in and check. So I did that. Looks like still drawn. And the opponent saw the best move, which was to come forward to protect that square. But that's fine. I was still, looking this way. And also I saw that this pawn was not great. That was the other reason I moved there, because once I did this, that pawn would have been hanging. But anyway, once that king moved forward, you know what? This is my chance. The evaluation bar drops out. Like, it's gone. Remember, I was even Where'd the evaluation bar go? Back up one move. I'm even. I took the pawn. This was my plan all along. I obviously didn't see this during the game. My opponent, who was doing much better than me, turned out to be rated almost 100 points higher, which I should still be able to compete with. My opponent saw immediately that if anything captured this rook, and I recaptured, that they have the back rank mate, with only a couple of useless interpositions. I didn't see that until here. And then I saw it. Why would they take with their queen? Oh, because if I capture, they come down, and then I block, they capture, I block, they capture, and I'm stuck. Nothing I can do. So the only thing I could think of was just to take a loss of the rook, but the queen moves out of the way, and then I resigned. So anyway, how it started, how it's going, yeah, I'm no longer this kid. I'm on my way to this guy, but we'll see. Thanks for watching.